Hello, and welcome to a test demonstration of DvN bosses, but in Minecraft. A coding project that I started a little ways back. It was made purely for practice, and, I was like, I want to learn some new stuff with math and coding, so this is the option I chose. And, yeah, it was not something I intended to actually get anywhere. I didn't want to turn it into a mod or anything, and I still don't have intentions for that. I know a lot of you guys really were interested in my Daedalus AI demonstration, which I was pretty happy to see that. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't plan on finishing and releasing it, or even releasing it in general. But maybe you could twist my arm. I don't know. I I'll have more information on that towards the end of this video, and I'll explain more on why I did this and a project that I will actually be making and making public. But it is unfortunately not DvN bosses. But I will show you a demonstration, and I'll explain more on that afterwards. So first off, we do have Daedalus, like a survival. Yeah, there he is. See. Spawned really far away. It might have been because of how fast I'm moving. There we go. Whoa! Whoa! Why he launched me so high? Right. How much damage he does? Whoa! I'm really tanky. I don't know why. I think his damage scales with difficulty now. Whoa, never mind. So yeah. So, let me go ahead and do a little explanation for Daedalus. So, all enemies do have player count scaling health. Just like DvN, it's pretty one-to-one, and Daedalus same with damage. But the way it works is they don't detect players; they detect entities with the ally tag. So basically, if you're a player and you go survival or adventure, it automatically gives you this tag, and the moment you go spectator and creative, it removes it. So that way, if you're a spectator, he's not trying to attack you or anything, or because it'd be really buggy. And this means you can also get bosses to fight other enemies, as long as it has the ally tag. Now, I gotta mention that everything's buggy, and obviously extremely unfinished. If I do an armor stand, you'll notice some cool things. So, the more armor stands, aka players, the more health we'll have. So in this case, we'll have 5. And also, Daedalus has his isolation mechanic, which means players that are furthest from the largest group will be targeted. So 4 here, 1 there. He'll have +5 player multiplier on his HP, and he'll target this one armor stand. So you see, he's over here now. I melee him, he's very tanky. Now, if I was to do something different, see, he's still targeting these guys. Let's make this group even larger. Now he'll go over here. Daedalus does have a lot of his mechanics, like his stomp, his melee, his burrow. He tracks player movement, so if you're moving in this direction, he'll appear in front of you. He's not perfect though, as his rock mechanic isn't proper. Currently, the rock just kinda flies into the air or down. So he doesn't actually throw it at the player, he kind of just drops it. And though there is demonstration of it actually working, like I said, it just goes into the air randomly. He's not very bug-free per se, like I said, he's doing a lot of weird things right now. Also, Daedalus, whenever you approach a wall, and he bursts out of the ground, he'll burst out the wall to come after you. However, if you were to do it and he was to appear there, he would just suffocate. So he's not fully finished, but he's pretty neat. Yeah, like I said, I'm in survival and he's just taking damage for no reason. He's not attacking me or anything. I don't know why. So, either way, in my other projects, this is not a prevalent bug. He said he has the stomp. So yeah, that's Daedalus. Now, before we get to the next bosses, let me show you something. Difficulty does not exist for Daedalus, because I made him before the difficulty factor. However, for Achilles, difficulty is prevalent. So currently if I set the difficulty to 100, we'll move on to Achilles, and he's pretty cool. So this is 100% Achilles. Shoots. Now let's move to 0%. Does not walk at all, and cannot deal any damage. 200%. I don't even think I need to talk about 200% Achilles, but he has all his scaling factors. He shoots you. And said his drone, despite being buggy and obviously unfinished, does work. Break it. Dead. Now, he had no health because Achilles' health base is really low. And what it is, he scales really hard. I think it's a base of 80 and this 200 per player. But there's no, that 200 per player didn't apply because there's 0 players. So he just has the base 80. Which, if you translate it to Minecraft, it's 80 divided by 5. Which is a small amount of health. I'm not doing the math right now. The drone also scales with difficulty, so how fast it regenerates, how much health it has, its reaction speed, all that stuff. So we set the difficulty to 300. He's kind of bugged right now. But let me set the volume low again. See, it's a lot shorter now, it has a lot more health. And Achilles is pretty neat. He doesn't have a teleport mechanic, so if he gets in melee range, he's just gonna shoot you to death. Ooh. He said it's just pure death on this difficulty. So yeah, that's Achilles for you. A lot of assets are missing. I can't seem to get the sound effects for Achilles that easily. The beep sound effect, I had to physically go into a game, and I had to make sure the conditions were as clean as possible to not obstruct the beep. And it came out really clean, actually. Converted it to stereo, or no, mono, and then changed some volume aspects of it. That's Achilles for you. Daedalus and Achilles have the most work put into them. When you get to Fusilier and Sparta, they don't really do much, they just have one core mechanic that functions. So Fusilier can launch grenades and Sparta can jetpack, and that's pretty much it. Fusilier does have his music, but he also just has a zombie AI. So, still, Fusilier introduced arcing projectiles and utilized the movement tracking system to make sure he could land his hits on players that are moving around too much. Just like Daedalus, he utilizes movement tracking, and Daedalus is supposed to utilize the arcing projectile method for his rock, which currently his rock is actually his rock's player hunting is pretty much deactivated right now to prevent it from flying off into outer space. So to get these to work, I'm gonna have to do some fun stuff with calculus. Yay! But moving on, Fusilier was not too hard, despite the fact that I thought he was going to. See, he is pretty well functioning. I need some immunity. This guy is gonna hurt me. Like I said, it does a strafe, and he only has 20 HP like a normal zombie, but purely an arrow demonstration. So as you see, it tracks your movement actually. If I jump, you can kind of see. You can mess with it like that, just like DvN snipers. Get closer. Or if you go really far, you can also pillar up, and you'll see that's pretty accurate. Currently it's just arrows pretty much. But he's also not even coded to shoot projectiles. It's actually just a command block running a loop. And there's a funny mechanic about this, actually. Let me do this. Yeah, it's that. That's Fusilier. Fun fact about that is because I learned how to do proper projectiles, because before the only types of projectiles that I knew how to use and I did use was originally teleporting. Basically, the projectile entity would just be teleported in the direction it's facing. Super awful, super buggy, looks terrible. It's bad, and I plan on not using it anymore. But the alternative was hit scan, which is what Achilles used. Now, fun fact about Achilles and DvN. DvN Achilles actually does not use hit scan. He is actually projectile based. It's just his projectile speed is insanely high, and if I remember correctly, he does track player movement to make up for, you know. So dodging Achilles and DvN is still like pretty hard, but I have done it, and I've even done it at point blank. I don't know how. And Achilles, yeah, he can miss. This version though, he does not, because he is actually properly hit scan, and I do want to. I'll get to that later, but it's pretty neat. Basically, what he does is he casts a ray from the player to him, and if the player's here and he's here, the ray from the player will stop at this wall, but it will keep going, and if it makes contact with him, then he'll shoot you, and he targets the player closest to him, just like in game. So yeah. Last but indeed very least, because he doesn't do much, is Sparta. And Sparta is a normal zombie, like before, so I have to especially give him some resistance so he doesn't fucking die. But Sparta has two things. He runs fast, obviously, because it's Sparta, and he can jetpack to players. And it's literally the same as arced projectiles, like Fusiliers. Instead of launching a projectile at you, he launches himself at you. It's pretty normal, actually pretty easy to code. Now, he's not perfect. See, it doesn't do much. And it's still, he's not very good at calculating, like, how high he needs to go. Like, if you watch, he'll land, probably. Or not. But he'll, see, he's really terrible right now. Ooh. But see, he goes way too high sometimes, and he doesn't know when to jetpack sometimes. But yeah. See that he is pretty fast. And he has a limit. He has to be within some range, because it actually bugs out if it's too high of a value. So he'll run a bit, and then he'll jet, and it's still pretty far. That's really it. I don't remember if he tracks your movement. I don't think he does. If I effect on our speed. 209 true. Yeah, he does not track your movements. Like I would say he's supposed to. I don't think Sparta in game actually does track your movement. I might be wrong about that one. He is insanely fast though. It's kind of funny. But yeah, he's just a zombie who jetpacks pretty much. Oh wait, that's right, he's immune. Let me bring him over here. Where is he? Okay. But yeah, a little demonstration. I want to return to Achilles real quick and show off some detail, because I glossed over something, so hold on a second. Alright, so now if we summon Achilles, let me school player set hashtag difficulty to 0. So go survival. You can see the ray that's casted. See, it stops here, and then yeah, it's a little buggy because I didn't so the limit for the width of detection, because each ray point that you see is actually one block in width to detect, and if that block detects Achilles, then it will trigger him to aggro. A block is way too big, but the method of shrinking it down took a lot of time, and I just, I was like, I'm not trying to do anything crazy right now. If I want to perfect him, I can later on, but so you can see it's fine now, but oh, there you go. He's trying to shoot me right now through a wall, and I'm not saying trying to shoot me. He is shooting me, because it's not like DvN Achilles where he can miss. It actually is hit scan. But yeah, there are some neat interactions with this, but It's not a perfect system, but if I polish it up, I can make it perfect. Now, this is probably what I'm going to use for enemy aggro, like preventing enemies from shooting at you in general. The only problem is I gotta think about performance, because raycasting can be performance intensive. But yeah, that's good old Achilles for you. And that's pretty much it for everything I've made. I just did it because I know a lot of people seem to really be interested in the Daedalus AI thing, and some people, I felt really bad because I saw some people like, oh dude, I can't wait for this, and like I was like, oh, dude, I'm not actually planning on releasing this, you know, like I didn't think people would actually look forward to an actual release. It was purely just to show off, but I do got some good news along with that unfortunate bad news. There will be a project in the works, and it's actually in the works right now, and it's a project that I stopped on for a while, like I abandoned it for a short moment, and then I'm coming back to it now, but I'm starting fresh. And it's called Eternal Decay. It's basically it's a Minecraft server that's going to be made that is based around a siege game mode like DvN, but it takes place in hell. You and your team are soldiers, and you're rushing into hordes of wither skeletons. Now, I don't mean just like regular, oh, they're wither skeleton holding a sword. No, no. All the enemies are unique, and there's different kinds. They're going to have different unique models and abilities. And not all enemies, there will be a few unique ones. That are not wither skeletons, like some bosses and certain intensive enemies. There will be a lot of enemies that will be familiar, like the knights are like the eternal decay equivalent of APUs. Blazing totems are like your platforms, but in exchange for being, so they're a lot more frequent and they're a lot less hard. They're way easier to kill. They don't have like special turrets or anything to defend them. But they, instead of just dropping an explosion on you, they create flame pillars. So that's pretty. There's a lot of cool stuff. You got berserkers, warriors, archers, and your most basic units are going to be warriors and archers. Warriors like a wither skeleton, except for he does not apply withering, and instead of just meleeing you, he even has a charge ability. There will be difficulty scaling factors. Everything uses advanced equations and mathing to calculate things. Archers don't just shoot arrows at you like normal skeletons. They are actually custom-made AI. And they work a bit differently. They're kind of scary right now, actually. I need to work on them a bit more, but we're working very hard to do as much as possible. And, you know, there will be several maps, bosses. I want to make it unique. I don't want it to just be DvN. Like, it's definitely inspired by DvN, but I want to make it unique. Scout mains. I know you guys will love it because the game promotes a lot more mobile gameplay than siege-type gameplay. Granted, I don't have any nearby plans to add jetpacks to the game, but there are a cool couple of pretty mobile classes with cool abilities. And I plan on trying to listen to community feedback as much as possible. I really want to hear everybody's thoughts, and I'm going to try to create surveys and stuff to get ideas. But yeah, it's starting off kind of fresh. There is a hell mode. I know a lot of you guys from the hell mode server are going to be interested. And the cool thing about this hell mode is the badge it's locked behind is not unfair. It's not a stupid internet arg that you have to solve, and it's not going to ever be unobtainable. It's not going to be, I don't want it to be like a super secret thing. I want it to be like a challenge that you can unlock, but I don't want it to be like hell where it's like nobody's beaten it simply because, you know, it's locked behind a wall. You look at how many people have beaten hell now, it turns out it's not actually impossible, even though it's also carried by the fact that we're all doing it on Archipelago. This hell, though, is locked to one specific map. It's a unique map, actually. And I want to make it actually fucking hard. So at the cost of being significantly more difficult than DvN's hell, or it's like playing DvN hell on a non-archipelago map, I guess would be a better way to put it. It's going to be really hard, but it's going to be accessible. The way you unlock it's probably going to be like you have to beat at least 3 maps on chaos mode, and chaos mode, by the way, is basically just masochist. So yeah, if you are interested, I also need more people to help me. And your skill level of stuff can be pretty low because the standards are low right now in terms of help. I need people who can make maps, plan, and just like create ideas. Help, like, maybe, oh, we should do this to balance, or we can do this as a bug fix. We can make, or who's a new enemy idea. Just somebody who's good with ideas. Um, People who are good with block design and stuff. People who can texture stuff, model and animate, because I want to add custom assets to the game. So if you use if you're good with stuff like block bench and stuff, that's gonna be great. Just a lot of skill sets. If you think you have something, just hit me up. I mean, I don't mind. You may. I mean, the worst that will happen is I say no. But I'm not gonna be like, I don't need that. Go away. I'm probably gonna be like, nah, not the moment. But yeah, if you are interested in helping in the project. Oh, before I get too far, please, if any of you guys know how to code, if you're good with like data packs and functions, and you know how to code that stuff, if you're good with logic and math and doing stuff in an optimized manner, please, it would be so much help. I am the only person coding this stuff. Everybody else is doing the more like map stuff and planning and stuff, and that's fine. I appreciate their work very much, but I need somebody who can help me code. Like, if you can help code an enemy of some sorts in a certain way, it's a big deal to me. So yeah, if you're interested in the project, whether you want to help in any way, or if you just want to check out development or hang out, the server will be posted in the description. Just along with the server to the DvN Hell Mode server will still be there like always, in case you want to play Hell Mode on DvN. Either way, both of them will be in the description. And yeah, there's a lot of work put into it, and I know I'm not explaining everything with the most detail. I plan on releasing a video very soon of the game and its progress. I want to show off the old version and the remaster that's being made, and I want to show off everything to the finest detail as much as possible. So yeah, this is just a short little advertisement session after showing off the bosses here. So there will be cool bosses and stuff. Wave 10s will be cool because Wave 10s won't just be, we'll take bosses from the other waves. Wave 10 will actually have a special boss specifically for that wave. And the boss that you get on Wave 10 depends on what map you're playing on. So if you're playing on the Nether Waste map, you'll get Infernus the Great. He's a big tanky boss with shockwave abilities. Or if you're playing on the dungeon map, you'll have the Dark Horseman, and he's a lot faster pace about dodging, and he has 2 phases, stuff like that. But yeah, that's all. I don't think there's anything else. But I don't know. If you guys really do want me to actually release a mod with these bosses, I probably won't ever model and texture them, but I definitely wouldn't mind maybe completing their AI and releasing it. So you'll still be dealing with a zombie, but the zombie will have the Daedalus AI. You have zombie version of Sparta. We'll have the telegraphs and stuff too, so that'd be cool. I can model those in. But for the most part, that's not on my priority. It wasn't meant to be something to be released. Like I said, I might, not no promises, I might change my mind if people really want me to. But I don't know, you'll have to give me your thoughts on that. Anyways, adios.